All right, so here's a recap of where we're at so far. And why I got a pressure washer. Last night, I pressure washed underneath this truck that we're fixing to take the oil pan off and get it replaced, which I foresee that being pretty easy. I foresee this being a lot harder. This is the vent line for the fuel tank. We're fixing to open it up on camera. See what we got here. Bought this on on eBay, used. Should be exact same thing I've got under there. Want to clarify a few things during the video. So far we've got both head valve covers on. I think I said in the video it was 29 inch pounds. It's actually 89 inch pounds that you torque those down to. Same with the oil pan. Now, I didn't video completing, plugging everything back up again on the passenger side because it's just the reverse of unplugging everything. So to kind of recap on both valve covers, you have a sensor in the back on the valve cover. And so there's 4 plugs for that, 2 on each side. Then on each side, you've got the 3 plugs in this case for the coil packs. Then on the the passenger side, you have a plug that's going over to the intake, the housing, and a sensor just right beside the throttle body that you're unplugging to get that out of the way. And that's it. I mean, that's what you've got on the passenger side. The driver's side, you have a sensor that's going to your um, the line between the valve cover and the intake, which is part of the crankcase ventilation. So you have that, and um, that's the. Other than that, it's the same sensors that's on the passenger side. But we will try to take a quick what's what under the hood before we get all this going again. And yeah, Dave Befunder or Befonder, I think is how somebody pronounced it. That is what we got going on here. This is both lines, although I only need one line. Um, so this should have the fuel line in it that goes to the fuel rail under the hood, which is going to be a metal line, and the plastic vent line that goes to the charcoal filter. Try not to make too big a mess because I got to bend over and pick all this stuff up. So surprising that lock is in really good shape. Man, I didn't expect it to be bad, but still in all, you never know. It is used. We're slowly getting it out, but we haven't gotten to the offending part yet. It is actually the cause of needing all of this. Once I get this open, I'll read off the part numbers that are on this, and they don't 100% match in a lot of cases, the part numbers are a little bit different from one to the next. Um, and I think that's just different year models, basically. I mean, you could have a little more of a difference for a specific reason or whatever, but I don't believe it's going to fit. Okay, so there's the fuel line. And we're finally uncovering the culprit to this whole mess. And that is this piece right here, which is on top of the fuel tank. So let me just separate these two. This is the fuel line. This piece, I don't know which piece would go specifically where. So this, yeah, if this is how it was originally set up, this is the piece coming out to the charcoal filter. So this is plugging into the charcoal filter, and this end is plugging into the charcoal filter. And then you have this up on top, plugging into your that thingy bob, that gets all the fuel out of the tank. Fuel pump. Aha, see there. We don't need that piece. And this piece right here, I mean, just as well replace the whole thing, because this is all made together from here all the way down to here. And then you have a fitting, and this comes out, and this is the part that plugs into the charcoal canister. So what I'm going to end up doing is dropping my fuel tank, not all the way down, but what I'm going to do is try to just pull the front strap and drop it down, and touch and feel up in there to pop all this stuff loose. Should be a fitting kind of like this that connects here, and then just run this along the line, snapping it into place. And then of course you got this joint right here where the two fuel lines join together. Get the old one off, and you're all good. This right here can keep your fuel tank from filling, causing it to stop after a gallon or two or even less. Put 12 volts on this. I forget, one side is, it's marked. I'll be darned. So looking straight down at it, the right hand side here is plus and this side is negative. 12 volts on it should make it click. Mine is stuck open, throwing a P2450 code. At the beginning of this video, when I was doing the airbag, I stated that was the airbag code that was wrong. That's the only code that it's throwing right now is the 2450, because the airbag codes went away. It was like a B13. B1300 something code. I'll put all that down in the descriptions, the actual codes, and I'll do a prequel sort of thing on the video to talk about this stuff, make some corrections on how I misspoke during the video, if that audio gets through. And of course, so far there's one section in the video that I've got to find and I've got to bleep. I figured there'd be more, but so far there's only one. So anyway, let's get that oil pan off and go from there. The next time when we fire back up, you are going to be underneath this truck with me. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see. I'm going to do my best. Okay, so you're under here with me now. I am no longer alone. So I washed all this down, and I've already removed the cross member right here. I did that last night, and the brush guard that sits just ahead of it, directly underneath the oil pan. So you can see the oil pan is completely exposed. There's 17
bolts that's around the oil pan. This is the transmission line, and it's going forward to the cooler. There's a bracket right here that is normally connected to the oil pan, which has been disconnected. And it also recommends, see, can you see where I'm pointing right here, that this bolt is removed and these lines are pulled back. And that will give you room to maneuver this oil pan out. But looking at it, I can tell that I don't need that. I don't believe I need to move this line, so I'm not going to disconnect it. You will lose some transmission fluid if you disconnect it. On the other side, there's a wiring harness, which you can see right here. I'm moving with my hand because it's been disconnected from the oil pan already. So someone's been in here and did some work, or tried to, or pretended to. And so I drained the oil last night, and I opened the filter housing up on top of the engine to give it some air. Oh, there's one of them frogs. I got him. I got that frog. All right. So anyway, the filter housing is open so it can draw air. All of the oil has been removed, but there's probably some residual that drained down overnight. So basically, this truck has been sitting here since last Friday. So that is Saturday, Sunday, Monday afternoon. So that's been 3 days. Now, I had to postpone because we had an issue at work. I had to go into work. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the vent line tonight. May have to do that at a later date. I don't know when. But anyway, let's pop this back open again to see if there's any more residual oil that has drained down that will need to drain. And it looks like there might be some, or that might be water. I don't know. Oh, and of course, the pan is not in exactly the right spot. So now I got oil on my wife's driveway. So yeah, we've got, I would say that's not a quart of oil, but it is some more oil. We're going to let that just sit there and do its thing for a minute. Again, this cross piece, you got 4 bolts here and you got 4 bolts here, and it's just a sharp piece that I pulled out. This is your sway bar, and then up front is the well, that's the front wheel drive. What in the world? Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. That's got to be power steering. I was going to say, I don't, that's not, it doesn't have front wheel drive. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm having a goober. That's some serious stuff at work. But anyway, so that's going to be the power steering set up directly in front. So this shroud, this brush guard, is bolted to this bracket that goes here forward and just slides in. There's only 2 bolts up front, one on each far side that you need to take a loose, along with the 2 that are on this cross member that's here. And you pull that whole brush guard out. And then I took this cross member out here. And I cleaned all that up really good. And I definitely recommend that you do the same. Make sure that you clean out from underneath here as much as you can, because all of this is going to be oily. All the transmission bell housing, all oily, all on each side. If this thing is leaking, especially if your head valve cover gaskets are leaking as well, there's gonna be a lot of oil and stuff underneath here. So you want to clean all of that out now that you've got this open. Pressure washer was the best way for me to be able to do it. But be careful not to spray up into the engine and get into any of the electronic components. You want to avoid that as much as possible. So this is like a quarter turn deal here. And I might keep that just for a backup. I don't know. See if I can do that left-handed upside down. So what is it, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey? Yep, that goes out the wall. That goes out the window in a situation like this. So let me push that up there and grab my drill. Now, all of these bolts are 10 millimeter. Let me see what you can see. So this is the front. That is forward. So I think what I'm going to do, let me see if I can move you up a little bit without getting you seasick and eating oil. Now let's see. I'm just moving my hand around to see that you can see everything. Yeah, it looks like you should be able to get a view of everything. So what I'm going to start doing is cracking these things loose. I don't need extra length in the extensions, so let's take that piece loose. And I probably don't even need to swivel on this thing. Well, I don't know. I think I will need it up there. And I don't know if these are captured. I know they are. Nope, they're not captured on the old pan, but they are captured on the new pan. One, two. And that is kind of in a hard spot. You definitely need a swivel to get to that corner. Now, if you have a four-wheel drive, you're going to have to do a little more. Wind up dropping one of your drive shafts. If I can get that to cooperate. Okay, so I've got that. Before I get too far along on this, because I don't think this is going to just drop. At least I hope it don't, because I'm directly underneath it. So I believe with a full drive, you're going to have a transfer case like right inside this section right here. And there's multiple videos online explaining, exactly what to do with that transfer case. You'll wind up having to jack it up and get some bolts loose and drop it down to the side, and you should be able to have enough room to get your oil pan out from that point. But I don't have a four-wheel drive, so I cannot demonstrate that to you. Should have put some gloves on, but I think we established a while back in this video that I am not only a goober, I'm retarded. No negative sentiment in meant or by that statement. But these bolts, And see, that was just loose. I mean, it's just no rhyme or reason. Some of this stuff, it's like they got in here, let's work on it. Nah, we ain't got to put all them bolts back in. We don't got to tighten them up. Why? Why bother? It's only an oil pan. And then you get one that's just super tight. That's weird. So right now, I don't know how many I've taken out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 left in there. Let's get these front two here. And I think I may have said already, these are 10mm bolts, and we will be torquing these back down to 89 foot-pounds. No, 89 inch-pounds, which is, the conversion would be 7.4 foot-pounds. There's a ton of silicone or RTV that's soft. So it leads you to believe that, I don't know, they tried to seal it with something and didn't even do its sealing thing or get hard. So I can't help but believe that whoever tried to do whatever, I don't know. I mean, it's just not done right. Looks like a new alternator on there. That's nice. Okay, so I should be down to 2 bolts. Leave that one partial. Now the oil pan should not want to come off. If it was even remotely done right. And it's pretty stuck. So okay, so that should be all 17 bolts. And I should not have my face directly underneath this thing, but I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, wait. I missed one. I still got one. Okay. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's all 17 bolts. So we should be about ready to try to make this thing come down. I don't got a Pro Bowl with me. But I do have desire to get out from underneath the oil pan. So I need to come up with some pry tools, because once it pops loose, I think it should just come on down. And there's another one of them frogs. I told you we're being invaded by these special frogs in Louisiana. Need some ornery suckers too. Let's see. Yeah, I did. I just tried to pry on it with that. It's not very smart. All right, I just gotta go find me a pry bar. I'll be right back. Here we go. Yes. I'm not really worried about this oil pan because it's not like it's going to get reused. There we go. It wasn't. Oh no, that was scarily too easy. So there is the underside, and I am so happy to see that. That is a chain. So if you don't know, some of these engines have belts. This is the chain for the, and I hope you can see it, but that's the chain for the oil pump. And some of them, like I said, have they have belts and not chains. And that is why they want 100% synthetic oil, is because it helps dress that belt when you have a belt. And so if you don't change your oil and keep it changed on a regular basis, then you run the potential risk of that belt breaking or fraying outside of the manufacturer's recommended change interval. And so you can see there's oil past the gasket almost all the way around this oil pan. And so obviously that's why it's leaking. Now on the front side, let's go ahead and push this to the side. Let me find the spot. There is a seam right here. So you have, and I hope that's coming out clear. Maybe I can zoom in on it. When I wipe it down and clean this this rim up better, then hopefully that will make it more obvious. But right here is the seam for the front timing cover that matches up to the front of the engine. This is the front side of the engine. This is the timing cover on the front. And over here, there is a matching spot where there's a seam. Now, I'm running my finger across that, and I can feel a lip. So you have the potential for the pan to leak at that point. See, that hose is hooked into the block. You have the potential for it to leak at that point. And so that is the only spot that this new oil pan that I'm putting in is calling for RTV. And that's the only spot I'm going to put it. Now, that feels great. That don't mean nothing, but my pan didn't come with a new O-ring here. So I'm not replacing that. I wish I was. And yes, you can beat me up in the comments all you want because I'm going to make it hard on you. I agree with you. But again, it's not going to be a hard process to pull this back down and change that out. And so my next oil change or the one after that, I may wind up doing that. So let's go ahead and get this oil pan out from underneath here so I can show you a direct comparison from it to the, or I'll tell you what, let's do that after I clean this up because I'm going to let you watch me clean this up. I'm going to start with a rag. This is the easy cleanup. This is the easy cleanup because I'm underneath. On top, it was very meticulous, very dangerous, and very precise that you needed to be because you cannot allow stuff to go falling into the top underneath the valve cover. That's the top of the engine. Now, it's not necessarily that that's going to get down into the combustion chamber or anything like that, but it will work its way through all of your oil passages through the engine block and eventually, potentially, into this pickup and then back into the oil pump and going who knows where. Now, RTV will cause a clogging issue to where you could end up starving some of your main bearings. Any of your bearings up on the top as far as your shoot, I forgot the name of it. That thing that spins around and makes your valves open and close on time. Anyway, Dave, help me out here. So it can cause scarring in a lot of places. Anything, wood, metal, debris of different types. That's the stuff that you want to watch out for. You don't want that falling down the top side of your engine. RTV can clog passages and cause issues there. Now, if you'll notice, you've got a large passage here. You've got one here where the dipstick comes down. You got another large passage over here. You got one here, and you've got a large passage here. And those are locations that the oil will drain back down from the top of the engine into the oil pan. And so the process is you have a pickup that usually has a filter, but in this case, these trucks, I don't think they have filters in those. It's a little bit of RTV right there. See, they touched that and got some RTV on that when they were trying to stab that old pan back in. And I'll show you the differences and all that when we do the comparison. But let me go grab some plastic scrapers so we can begin scraping the bottom of this right here. I'm not going to have, I thought I was going to need RTV remover, but this RTV is just coming off. I honestly believe most of it is on the oil pan. So it leads me to believe that they probably covered the oil pan with the RTV and really did not prep this block very well. Because I'm just not, there's little spots like that right there. That's a little hole that's got RTV in, and I'm going to get me a pick to try to pick that out because I don't want RTV left. There's a little bit right there, but that'll come right off with a scraper. And up on the front, really none. So what I don't think they really cleaned this surface before they put that back up there, which is I think why almost the entire surface of this oil pan was leaking. I mean, this thing was leaving gouts everywhere that it went, and that was all due to improper oil pan installation, in my opinion. And I'm just taking my thumb and I'm literally rubbing some of the RTV that was flattened out against the bottom there. I'm just literally rubbing it off with my thumb. I mean, the RTV should be stuck a whole lot better than that. And this I don't even think this is RTV. I think it's just regular silicone. I honestly believe they just put just plain silicone on there because it's rubbery. And RTV is usually harder. Correct me if I'm wrong. Dave, you seem to know a lot about vehicles. So you tell me, should RTV be pretty firm and solid whenever it sets up? Or should it be rubbery like any other kind of silicone sealer? So anyway, let me go get some tools so we can get this cleaned up and we can get to the comparison of the two and get this baby button back up. Again, like I said, I don't know what time it is right now, but I'm not going to have time to do the vent hose. I do have it. It did come in finally, but I'm not going to have time to drop the gas tank. I have to be back at work in the morning for more on the stuff that happened. And we may get off early tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think we're going to be doing any production because of everything. But anyway, so let me grab tools and I'll be right back. I know I can hear y'all saying it. If I could shut my mouth, I'd get it done already. You know, one thing's for sure. When you got a creeper, that sucker usually creeps in the direction you don't want it to go. So let me take this wet towel and just kind of, or I say wet, just a little damp, oily. I want to wipe. You know, guys, life is very fragile. And you never know when you're going to wake up one morning and not come home to your family. So I'm going to take a minute while I'm doing this to talk to you a little bit about that. And I feel like there's a country and western song, and it's basically live life like it's your last day. Now, I don't mean take chances and just go all out and run up huge bills and do whatever because of whatever. But what I mean and what I feel as far as that song is live life like you don't have a tomorrow. Because nobody is guaranteed a tomorrow. You're not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. You're not guaranteed to come home to your family when you leave in the morning. So, there was a deal one time that I heard, and I forget who said it first, but it was, never go to bed angry at your wife. Well, that's not just your wife. I mean, your kids. Never go to bed angry. Never walk away from an apology. You see what I'm saying? Never lose a chance to tell somebody you're sorry because of the simple fact you may not get another one. You may not get that chance to come back later when you cool down and tell them you're sorry, you really didn't mean it. So you need to take every opportunity to ask those around you for forgiveness for what you've done to them and to tell them that you are sorry for that, because you may not get a second chance. You may not have a tomorrow to come back to them and tell them, oops, I made a mistake. Pride is a dangerous thing. And it's really dangerous because there's two types of pride. You have what I'm going to call a godly pride. Pride in your family, pride in your savior, pride in your wife, your children, that kind of thing. That's one kind of pride. But then you have another kind of pride. When say it's not the good side, and your daughter comes to you and says, "Dad, I'm pregnant," and of course, your pride is hurt. How did you let this happen? Blah blah blah. And all you are is tied up with the situation and what it is. But at the same time, what if you don't get a chance? What if you say something that's not good and you don't get the chance to make that right? So watch what you say to begin with, but also very much so, and in a big way, go back swallow that worldly pride. Let's call it a worldly pride, a godly pride and a worldly pride. Never miss an opportunity to spend time with your family, and never miss an opportunity to forgive the transgressions that you feel like they've done to you. Because in a case like that right there, you can let your pride rule and drive your daughter away, and then you miss out on your grandchildren and your daughter, and just all kind of ugliness. But at the same time, if you don't let that be the driving factor, you you get that future, you get that chance, you get that opportunity to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." So never just assume, "Oh, you'll take care of it later. You'll tell them later." Oh, I'll let them know I'm sorry when I cool down, because they or you may not be there to cool down at a later time. So that's something that you really need to kind of think about in your life. Now, also keep in mind whenever you're wiping this down with a rag or whatnot, keep in mind that you want to be careful that you don't end up oops, that you don't end up leaving dust particles or little fuzzies behind. And see that this right here is a testament that something's not right, because with how they did this repair, because I mean, I am 99% done cleaning this thing, and this is supposed to be put on with a uh, high temp RTV. Let me see something here. Buff under. I mean, I don't know what this is. But it feels like a blind hole, and feels like a blind hole. It's got whatever this goober golly stuff is, be it some kind of weird soft RTV or silicone or whatever it was they tried to seal this thing off with. Which I'm starting to think that whoever did whatever on this thing was trying to save money in every way they could. Uh, and I get that. I've always needed to save money myself. I mean, I don't have a lot of money. Uh, but it's like it's really at the cost of it's like shooting your foot cutting half your foot off so you get your shoe to fit, you know, kind of thing. You know, you really got to, sometimes you have to do it right. And that's another reason why I'm glad to see that it's a chain in there instead of a belt, because that tells me, or that reassures me, that if they did not keep synthetic oil in here, then the belt is, I ain't got to worry about it. But if it is a belt and you're not keeping synthetic oil in it, you got something to worry about, because that belt breaks, you're not getting oil to the top of your engine, and when it doesn't have lubrication, your bearings go bye-bye. And so your camshaft, that's what it is. Yes, Dave, camshaft. The camshaft gets eat up. Everything gets kind of uglied up really quick. Okay. All right. I just got a couple of spots with a little bit of RTV left. Well, I'm going to start calling it silicone, because I don't believe it's RTV. I believe it's silicone. That's what they stuck that stuff in there with. Because I shouldn't be able to just rub it off with my bare finger, let alone with a little hand towel. And I'm able to do that. Where's my scraper? Clean my edge, so make sure I ain't got no gritty grammies. Okay. All right, so it's all flush and smooth. Very, very, very smooth. Okay, so now let me shut you down and we'll get out there and compare the oil pan guy. If I can turn you off. Well, maybe I can't. Okay, so we got them out. and we've got the flange cleaned up underneath the truck. And so what that hole I was digging out would have been a alignment pin hole, which with the orientation should be right here, which is missing. So it's been broke off or whatever the case may or may not be. And you can see the stuff that's on here. I mean, it's rubber. It's literally just rubbery. That's me stretching it. And so, I mean, this stuff right here is just like rubber, literally. That's why I don't think it's RTV. Notoriously, in my opinion, RTV is pretty stiff. You know, it's not just rubbery like this right here once it's set up. And you can see how, you know, I'm just peeling it off. So first of all, it was whatever this stuff is wasn't a good seal. So either it was not prepped properly, or I don't know. I don't really get it. But you can see a reservoir right here, which here is a check valve on this side of the oil pan. See if you can see that check valve right there. And then here's another one. I think this is where the dipstick comes down, and there's a check valve right in here. And then you have the same reservoir here, which is like a little holding spot for the pickup for what would be your oil pump belt, or in my case, chain. Yes. Then you got the same pickup down here on it, but they changed the location of the drain. So here's the drain plug right straight forward. See if that's visible there. It's right up here. On the new style, they've actually offset it towards the driver's side. You can see that yellow plug right over there. Still a plastic quarter turn plug, but they offset it. In my opinion, that's great, because here it hits the cross arm and the sway bar and just gets everything coated with oil. And you really can't stop it without just holding it there forever, letting it slowly drain. This right here, push it off to the side towards the driver's side tire, and you can set your catch pan right there, and it'll just fill it right on up. So that's the big difference. Is you can see this point versus this point. There is literally, it's just open. And same way here, it's just open back up in there. But other than that, they're almost exactly the same. This is a little tighter around in here. This is a larger surface. I believe this is a little larger footprint all the way around, because this one is supposed to be sealed with RTV, not whatever this stuff is. And so that's what we got. Count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 bolts, and these are captured. Let me go ahead and get these to make sure that they're back up. I don't want them sticking way up there when I go to put it into place. All right. And so also, like I said, these are 89 inch-pounds that these have to be torqued up to, which is the equivalent of 7.4 foot-pounds. So the 2 points right here, you got this point here and this point here that you have to have RTV on. Now I have actual RTV sealant, and I'm going to put a little bit here and here, and also underneath there. So let me get you swapped back around underneath, and I'll meet you underneath there. Okay, so we are back under here. Got a little bit of oil movement there. Let's clean that. Clean that. Got a little bit of drainage coming down there. Clean that off. Now we're going to get some ATV on these 2 joints here. And then all right. So we've got that in place. So we're going to get the oil pan up here. Just want to get a couple screws started. That's holding. And this there. So now let's get some screws. Now go real easy. Because we're not trying to tighten anything up. And you don't want to cross thread anything. That's the most important thing. Because I almost cross threaded one of my oops, I don't mean to do that. Because I almost cross threaded one of my valve cover. I mean my coil packs. You can tell I don't walk and chew bubblegum very well. Let go. And I don't know if there should be a pattern, but I will, whenever I cinch these up and start torquing them, I will do it in a pattern. Well, you know what? Get my RTV out of my wheel well. Because I will forget it, go driving down the road. Now it's not tightening, but what it is I'm at an angle of the dangle. I'm gonna have to get a stubby 10 millimeter. Okay, so um okay, we're still set at 89 inch pounds. Too close. It's 89. That's 89. Okay, so that one ain't even sucked up there. I missed it. No, it don't taste good. Tastes like nasty tool. That's a hammer. And where's 89? So I think I already got this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, give my arms a quick little rest. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay. These here. So, I got this one up in here. Yeah. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get Brett. I'll have to get out from under here to get a shallow socket, but I think we've got everything else. So, okay. Ooh, I'm glad I checked. I forgot one. That's why it's always good to go all the way around, start at a corner, and come back around to that corner when you're doing something like this. 17 bolts. You could very easily miss one because that's like I said. When I pulled that other one off, one of them bolts was loose. Nope, there's no loose one. So there you go. So there's two that would have been loose that I'm not going all the way around again. That's why it is always good to double check yourself. Yep. And then of course that one that I really can't get on top of because my socket's too tall. Let's see. You know what? I wonder. Yeah, 3 millimeter. This one in here. $14. You know what? Just about make that work. But I can't because I can't make that one work because it's half inch and I'm got a cord fitting. So here's this snaps into one side of the oil pan. We'll go ahead and snap that back into place. Yep, that's in there. And then this is the This right here is the transmission stuff that was unsnapped from the other one. Appreciate that. Just snapped it in. So I did not have to move my transmission cooling lines. And this right here, which looks like a starter wire going down to the starter, I did not have to, I mean, it was already pulled loose. So I just had to snap it back into place. So the only thing I've got to do to finish this up is to get under here with a shallow socket and hit this last bolt up here. I've started in this corner and worked my way all the way around for 16 bolts to here, and confirmed everything is at 89 inch-pounds / 7.4 foot-pounds, except for that corner bolt right there. And I've got to get a smaller socket to get it up in there. Now, what I did do is on these two bolts, the universal joint, or the swivel in my ratchet, is slightly at an angle. It wasn't straight. On all of these, it was straight, even up to here. This one, this one, this one, and this one was at a slight angle. And you heard this, my ratchet on this one. And that's because of that swivel. So the swivel takes extra force. And so I'm putting a little bit more on those bolts than on the other ones to compensate for the swivel. Now I know that's not perfect, but it's the closest that I can do in this particular situation. So I'm gonna leave you guys running, and I'm gonna go and get that shallow socket and get it back in here. And then I think I'm gonna put this in place. You know what? I'm not, because I'm done for tonight. It's, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's gonna be getting dark here soon. And I'm ready to get cleaned up and ready for work tomorrow. So it's on there. We're all good. The valve covers are on there. This is on there. I'm gonna put my dipstick back in up top, and then we will probably tomorrow evening we'll get back under here, and we'll get this this cross member put back in, and we'll get this brush guard put back in here, and then we're going to call it good for under here for right now. But again, all this stuff's been cleaned, so if I get a leak from this oil pan, it's going to show up. Now, with this brush guard underneath here, all the leaks coming from here and everything was all coming down, and underneath here was all coming down onto that brush guard. And so a lot of that was just pooling up and blowing out all down the back of this truck underneath. So it's got a really good undercoating on this truck because of that. Don't really know how long that went on. I wish they had done this, so I didn't have to. But then again, with the work I've seen on this so far, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because they likely would have just done the oil pan and not the valve covers. And then this truck would have probably been forgotten long ago because it's burning oil or something, which that potentially will cause that to happen. So I'm going to try to collect up tools and get them out of the way. Now let me see. Okay. So now I got me a shallow shot. And I don't even know how well you guys can see now because it's starting to get dark under here. But awesome. So I'll tell you what, I did pretty good, very good on that. Because I am just barely getting a smidgen of a turn. I am barely getting a smidgen of a turn before it registers the full 89 inch pounds on them bolts. So this part of the job is done. So again, depending on how I feel or what time I get off tomorrow, we'll get this cross member back in here. And I've got to look up the torque specs to see what the torque specs needs to be on these 4 bolts here, these 2 here and 2 here. And then we'll get these 4, these 2 up here and the 2 that's going to be on the cross member with the brush guard underneath. And that's been, I cleaned all that up too. I blew all that off, all the oil and everything off it. So we are golden on most all this stuff. Collect up tools, sockets, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and I'm missing one. 17. So I got all 17 bolts off underneath here. Now you might call me weird, but I'm gonna tell you something for a fact. If I leave one of them bolts under here, it's gonna end up in my top. Alrighty. So overview, we've got both valve covers on. We've got the oil pan on. Both valve covers and oil pan are all torqued to 89 inch pounds, and that is 7.4 foot-pounds. Oil's completely drained, so what we've got left to do is I've got to put the cross member back underneath the truck, and I've got to put the
brush guard. Here's the brush guard. And here's the cross member. And so we got to get those put back in. And then for now, we're finished under the truck. Because like I said, I'm not going to do the fuel tank vent line till when I got a decent amount of time. I want to at least have a weekend, just in case I run into problems. So if I'm off this weekend, then I'll do it this weekend, and I'll add that to the video. And we should see this posted here within, I don't know if it's this weekend, then it'll be next week. On top, I have to fix that, I don't know, it connects the purge valve into the intake on the turbo. So I don't know. I'll figure out how I'm gonna fix that. And it's just kind of pushed in place. The valve covers, everything is done. The spark plugs are in. I mean, the coil packs are in. The back, the one I labeled as 1 on the passenger side against the firewall, that one was full of water. I had to blow it out, but I waited until after I got the valve cover on, then I blew the water out. Everything's packed good with silicone, and then hopefully we will have no misfire issues on that. We'll find out. We'll know whenever we fire it up. So that's where we're at so far. Pretty much as of now, everything's fixed except for the vent line. We got a few things put back together. I'll go over details. I'll show you under that hood. We'll go over details on each side, and I'll point out each of the contacts points that you're going to plug back in again on your wiring harness. And so if all goes well, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll get the last 2 pieces put on underneath. We'll go over the top side, and I'll get the vent line in there, and we will do a recap at the end of this, and I'll go over any details correcting any of my mistakes that I verbally brought out during the comment or during the course of this video, to correct wherever, because I misspoke on the codes and stuff like that, and the torque settings. So anyway, we'll see you again real soon. For you, it'll be instant. For me, probably tomorrow. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.